So now we're going to expand on indirect openers. So we're going to think about some situations where you might need to use an indirect opener. So again, maybe you're in the gym and you see a girl you want to talk to and you want to be a little bit more indirect because you never really know. Maybe she has a boyfriend. Maybe, she fucking is just not interested. Maybe she's a fucking lesbian, but you want to shoot your shot anyway, right? And so maybe you'll just strike up a conversation with her, talk, maybe you're asking her, hey, are you done with the squat rack? And then you just lead in a conversation. Oh, cool, I haven't seen this gym before, nice. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And then you kind of just lead into a conversation, right? You try to find common ground, and we're gonna talk about that in the next, videos about what to say and how to hook the interaction and get to the social hook point. But again, the whole point is you're trying to almost allow her the opportunity to disqualify herself, right? Women don't come from a frame of qualification. Men do. They come from a frame of disqualification. Women tend to kind of disqualify, not qualify. A woman's never looking for a reason to sleep with you. She's looking for a reason not to. And so being indirect works really well. Whereas you kind of almost have plausible deniability. It's like, oh, I'm not even hitting on you. I'm kind of just chatting and having a fucking conversation, right? And you're just kind of being social. And that way, if she randomly brings up, oh, she has a boyfriend or whatever, you can just be like, oh, the fuck, I have a girlfriend. I wasn't even hitting on you. It's funny, when I'm doing day games sometimes, if I chat a girl and, they mention, oh, I have a boyfriend, I'll be like, oh, no, that's cool. I have a fucking girlfriend. And it's funny, sometimes when I'm at the bars and clubs and I tell a girl, I like them or whatever, and they're like, oh, I have a boyfriend, I'll say, that's cool. I have a girlfriend, but I cheat, though. That's actually pretty fucked up, pretty funny. But, obviously, it's great to have that indirect kind of social dynamic because you kind of have plausible deniability because she has the opportunity to tell you, oh, I have a boyfriend, and then you're like, oh, cool. So indirect works really well in a situation where, again, maybe you're on a college campus and you want to just be social and you kind of want to figure out if the girl has a boyfriend. Well, that way when you're chatting with her and you're being more indirect, she has the opportunity to kind of bring it up like, oh, yeah, I was out with my boyfriend this past weekend. Then you kind of no, you're getting sub-communicated signals or, very subtle cues of hey, cool, we're being social, but I have a boyfriend. And so at least you know. So let's actually look at some, I guess you could say, lines that are more indirect so you guys understand a little better of how to be indirect. So maybe you see a girl reading a book and you say, hey, what are you reading? Or maybe you walk up to the girl who's reading a book and you make a joke about, hey, the guy dies in the end. Spoiler alert. Right? Maybe you see some fucking girl playing a video game on her phone. You're like, hey, what game are you playing? Right? It doesn't really matter, right? It matters more of what you're saying versus, it matters more of how you're saying things more than what you're saying, okay? And so it's really important to, be indirect. So maybe you're at a party and you're saying, oh, hey, what are you drinking? You walk up to the girl, hey, what are you drinking, right? Or one of my favorite indirect openers is pretty much asking people, oh, where are you from? Where are you from? That's one of my favorite indirect openers. It's great for screening logistics, and it's also just great for finding common ground. Where are you from, right? And so that way, it's just cool. You're being social. That's simple. You're just being a social, cool dude. And so you're not necessarily hitting on her. You're not necessarily putting your intent out there, but you're just striking up a conversation, being more indirect. And again, the list goes on. You can just be like, oh, I like your outfit. Where do you get from? Oh, where are you from? What are you drinking? Maybe even asking for directions. In my opinion, that's a little bit too indirect, right? There's a lot of guys who will say, hey, excuse me, do you know where the Starbucks is? And then kind of segue into conversation. Or a lot of guys will just ask for directions or what's, do you know where the street is or whatever. And those are a little bit too indirect because it almost feels deceptive to the woman because if you do start hitting on her, then, it's kind of a little bit awkward because, well, hey, you just went from being this guy asking for directions to, wait, now you're hitting on her? And I've seen a lot of guys who will literally go from an indirect opener to a direct opener saying, oh, excuse me, do you know where the Starbucks is? And she starts telling you the Starbucks is, and you're like, hey, you know what? I don't even care about the Starbucks. You're really cute. I had to say hi. Now, again, it's a high risk, high reward. You just went from indirect to direct, and that could work. It also could just tell, the girl might just tell you to fuck off. So it's really up to you how you want to handle it. Your opener doesn't really matter. It really matters more of how you make the woman feel, okay? And what comes after the opener, and we're going to get into that in a moment.